Hello and welcome to Reviews with Ryan. Today I'm going to be talking about the brand new sports drama film, National Champions. This film was directed by Rick Roman Woe, and he's directed films like Angel Has Fallen and Greenland. I want to thank you guys for clicking on this video. If you like all kinds of movie content, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that like button, and comment, are you interested in seeing National Champions? Is this a touchdown or is this another mediocre sports drama film? Find out next in the review. National Champions is about a star quarterback who ignites a strike hours before the biggest game of their college career. He does this to ensure that they have fair compensation, equality, and respect for student athletes. The film stars Stephen James, Alexander Ludwig, J.K. Simmons, Kristen Chenoweth, Timothy Oliphant, Uza Aduba, and Jeffrey Donovan. So going into this movie, you have two teams facing off in one of the biggest games of the year, and you have this star quarterback. He ignites this strike. And by doing so, he pretty much posts on Twitter that he's boycotting the game. This kind of catches on to the press, and he demands what his expectations are and what he wants as a college athlete. And then soon enough, you have these other players kind of joining in on the strike. And then you have the NCAA stepping in and kind of investigating why this is happening and why they want all these things that they want. And throughout the film, it really takes place mostly in a hotel. They are staying in New Orleans, and they're staying in this hotel, and the whole movie takes place in this hotel between all these different players. And they really don't necessarily talk about the teams too much. You just know that Stephen James, he plays the quarterback, and he's the star quarterback, and he's supposed to be selected as the first overall pick in the draft. And they pretty much just base this film on him. None of really other players that are really focused on in this. He does have a teammate played by Alexander Ludwig. They don't really go into what his position is, but he's part of the team, and he's part of him in this strike that they're having. As far as performances go, I think Stephen James, who plays the quarterback, I think he has a really good performance here. I think he really does a good job organizing this strike and kind of getting his feelings out there, and he plays his character really well. And I think Uza Aduba, she represents the NCAA, and the way that she represents them, she becomes kind of like this evil kind of person, yet she's kind of like an in-the-middle character because she has some evil things that she does, yet there are certain things that they do in the movie to kind of make you feel somewhat of feeling sorry for her. There's a scene where she kind of talks about how she got into college and how a scholarship really did wonders for her. I think the hardest part of this film is the fact that a lot of these college athletes, they get scholarships at these colleges and they get injured and they can have other things happen to them and they don't get compensation for that. And they're putting their name out there and they're putting their bodies on the line. And knowing that, and then knowing what the NCAA, like how they portray the NCAA in this is they're making all this money and they're putting it towards other things. Really, we don't know as the viewer what they actually do as far as the money and how much they put through scholarships. But I can tell you there are about 890 teams out in college today. That's 5 different divisions that they have. And there's about 75,000 players, and there's about 85 players on a team. And can you imagine trying to pay all these players and compensating them to play this game? Even players that don't really play, that are on the bench, are just on the team just to have a roster spot. I think it would be rather difficult to be paying every single player, especially players that don't really have an impact towards the game. As far as music in this goes, there's not really any memorable songs. As far as shots go and cinematography go, it takes place in a hotel pretty much the whole time. They do like a shot of the stadium, but there really is no football action in this movie. If you're looking for that, there is not any of that in this kind of film. And as far as things that I didn't like about this film, I didn't like the fact that here we have another film that brings up issues, and really there isn't really necessarily a solution for this problem. It's brought up, it's kind of mostly, I guess, to bring the attention of the viewer to maybe talk about, but there really isn't a solution to this. The ending is another anticlimactic type of ending and really didn't have much of a solution at all to the problem. And also, I didn't really like the fact that you have J.K. Simmons. He is the head football coach of this team. And then you have his wife, and then they don't have a good relationship. But then you have this side story with her cheating on her husband with Timothy Oliphant. And I really don't think that it really added to the film at all. It really was this brief kind of thing that they threw in there, and it really didn't have any resolution with that at all. And I really don't think that we needed that in the film because it really took away a little bit from the story, and it was just kind of like 10 minutes of wasted time that didn't really need to be thrown into a 2-hour movie. And really, the film didn't really necessarily need to be 2 hours at all because it takes place in this hotel the entire time. And then also with the coach, they really build his character in a way that it seems like he just really just cares about winning, and he tries to put this whole thing and making him feel for his quarterback and how he loves his quarterback. But really, you really find out with his character that he really just isn't the best of person. And the way that they wrote his character, I necessarily didn't really care for the character all that much. And really, with all the other NCAA officials, I really thought Uza Aduba is really the only one that really stood out. All the other ones are just kind of there, and it doesn't seem that they have a lot of great concern for the fact that these players are doing this strike. And then another negative I would say about this film is, even though this quarterback is organizing this strike, I don't really feel any empowerment to the other players wanting to boycott or really putting much of a fight or stand up to these NCAA officials. I really feel like the quarterback and his buddy, Alexander Ludwig, are really the only ones that really stand up to these individuals. With all of this information in mind, I'm going to give the score of this film a 2 out of 5. It's kind of a mediocre film. It does bring up a good issue, but it really doesn't really solve anything, and it really just feels a little bit too long for my taste. And really how the issue is brought up, there just really isn't much of a solution for this problem, and it seems like this is a problem that could be going on for years to come, and is still going on currently. So let me know if you guys are going to check out this film. Is this something that you would be interested in? Do you really like football movies? Do you even care about sports movies? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you guys in my next one.